I'm at a birthday party. I feel a tug on my leg. I see this little kid. Excuse me, mister. Why are you so fat? I pause for a moment. His father's sitting behind him. I wait to see what he's going to do or what he might say. Nothing. So bend over. I eat small children. Have you ever seen those cartoons where the guy's eyes pop out of his head? That is exactly what happened with this child. His eyes popped out of his head. He scooted across the room, followed by his now very unhappy father. My fellow Toastmasters and guests, it's an uncomfortable truth. We judge people by what we see. Whether it be if you're a woman, you're fat, or maybe you're wearing sweats and a hoodie when you're supposed to be wearing a suit and a tie. Did anybody judge me for that? Or maybe, just maybe, it's because I decided to have a seat to make a point that we all face uncomfortable truths in our lives. We all judge people, sometimes based on what we see, not who they are. It reminds me of the first time that happened. I was in college, and it was the week before Christmas, and all outside the motel, not a creature was stirring, except for me and my buddy Fred. We were coming back from the motel lobby. And as we walked up the stairs, all of a sudden, that would be the fire alarm. We looked around. So we walked back upstairs. All of a sudden I heard, and Fred heard it too, "Hey! Hey, you!" I looked down. There's a cop there. Me? Yeah, you! And him too. Get down here. Okay. What seems to be... Shut the bleep up again against the wall! What? Shut the bleep up again against the wall! You pulled the bleeping fire alarm. I did not pull, we did not. Shut the bleep up, get against the wall. Kind of tight. Shut the bleep up. He took us back to the same office we were just at. Sat us down. Now, as a kid, my grandparents always used to tell me it was important to speak up. Speak up for yourself in situations just like this. So I did. Hey, we didn't do anything. That's what Fred said, Jeff. Calm down. No, Fred, we didn't. Jeff. It's okay. No, it's not okay. Jeff, you need to calm down. But we didn't, Jeff. Okay. A half an hour went by. They released us. Told us to go back to our room. And they get back to us. About 15 minutes later, cop comes upstairs. The fire alarm was pulled at a building 3 buildings that way from where we stood. He apologized. He said he was sorry. And then he left. After he was gone, I looked at Fred. What was that about? What do you mean, what was that about? Why didn't you say anything? Just, sometimes it's better not to say anything. Oh, really? Like, why? Because I'm black, Jeff. It's when I realized an uncomfortable truth. I judged Fred based on my experiences and what I saw, not what he saw, not his experiences. Just like that cop had judged the two of us for being young and wearing hoods. Or that father who judged based on what I looked like. Or that child, or what I said to that child. Have you ever faced an uncomfortable truth? Have you ever judged someone by what you saw? Not on their merits, not on them as a person. That's why at that birthday party, I went back to find that kid. I ran into his father. He apologized to me. He was embarrassed that he didn't know what to say. Another uncomfortable truth. We have thousands of thoughts every day. It's easy for us to sit there and see them and understand that that can be what happens. We need to take a step back. We need to be careful about the uncomfortable truths we create. The most important, we need to judge people on their merit. And if they taste good with cheese sauce. Mr. Toastmaster.
You're doing John, too, but you're evaluating.
Oh, I'm very
Yeah,
Jeff, right?
yeah, right, yeah, that's it, because Chuck is gonna do.
So I'm not.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. This is stage talk, you know, it's like, Jeff, very good. This is the third time you did this?
I think,
Yeah,
yeah.
third time. So, let's bring his evaluator. Amy, please.
Jeff, how do you feel?
I was trying some things out on the back end a little bit more. I still need to get that a little bit down. I still need to work on my timing. Out of curiosity, Mark, where was I at?
7:22.
Okay. Got it tight. Okay.
Okay, Jeff also gave me 6 questions. So I'm going to ask you about 2 or 3 at first, so you don't get overwhelmed with it. What's Jeff's message? Was the message clear? And the other group would be what works for you and what didn't work for you. And the next group is, could use some help with the dialogue with Fred in the hotel room. And the last one is more humor in the middle and back end. So let's start with the first 2. What was his message, and is it clear?
Extremely quick. I saw the speech 2 weeks ago. He was a different person. I mean, we all could see that if you were here 2 weeks ago. He obviously worked on it. He did a great job, and he changed some things up. But I thought it was extremely clear. He harped on the title of the speech. He ended with the title of the speech, comedy. I thought he did an amazing job of driving that.
Okay, anyone else on that? If not, we'll move to the second one. Message clear. What worked for you and what didn't work? What?
One thing I wasn't clear on is I wasn't sure how the father saying "I don't know what to say" was an uncomfortable truth compared to the other uncomfortable truths.
Mom?
And building on that, I too, right at that point, you said, we all need to face uncomfortable truths, and then talked about we need to be more resilient or something and I thought that diluted the uncomfortable truth a little bit. You seemed like it was an add-on message or something.
Okay,
A bonus.
do you have something? No? Chuck?
Jeff, you kind of mumbled the last thing that you said to the point that I couldn't hear it. And I recommend that you have a stronger finish, voice-wise.
Okay, any more comment about what worked well and what didn't work?
Jeff, I thought this time you closed the story with the father and the son. That was powerful, because before you left it hanging, and the fact that you went back to find out what these people were thinking was important, because it was an uncomfortable truth for them. Right on.
And that's what it's called book end.
Okay.
Very nice. Yes, Steve?
I thought the way you present the fact that your friend is black is a lot more powerful than last time I heard it. I think maybe you could make it even more powerful. I have something about, I've got to be careful in my interactions, Jeff. I'm black. That if you end on that word, I think it could be more powerful.
Okay. Then let's move to the next group. Oh, yes, Nancy?
No, I'm waiting for the next group.
Okay. Timing. How can we help with the dialogue with Fred?
I thought your dialogue with Fred in both cases went on a little too long, especially when you were sitting down, and I think you're in the police station. I think you can get the same point across with fewer words, which will free up some more seconds on that 7-minute and 22-second speech.
Yes, Dan?
You looked down at the kid so well. I mean, the gesture was perfect because we really got down and looked at it. That same quality of clarity between when you have dialogues with your friend. So turning really clearly so that we know when you're Fred and Fred's responding to you would be important. If you're up on the landing and the cop is down, stage that so that at one point you're looking down at the cop, and the cop is looking up at you, and give that the same kind of fidelity that you had with the kid. I think that would polish it up some.
Thank you. Opportunity for more humors. Mark?
Oh, sorry. That's it. I was still speaking about the Fred. I guess I would like to see the stakes amplified in that story with Fred. You're going back and forth of, I want to get out of here, just shut up. It didn't seem to build in intensity. So I was looking for a little build through that moment, because it was a little bit longer.
Yes, Curtis?
I don't know what group of questions I want to say that speech did progress it's progressively better. You're still wasting a lot of time with your interaction with the bleep with the cop. You save minutes if you wipe that out. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, Michelle?
Yes. So Jeff, you've really improved a lot from the
Michelle?
last speech.
Project louder, please.
About the Fred dialogue, I thought more than changing the dialogue, you needed an inner voice of how you were judging him. I think last time that part was clear, but this time somehow I didn't hear you judging Fred, so I had a little disconnect there. So potentially have an inner dialogue of what you're thinking about Jeff at that moment.
Any other thoughts about humors, Lynn?
Yeah, I don't know if it's humor, but you started down the first. That first joke just cracked me up, right? Because you're so uncomfortable, right? It's so uncomfortable, and so I was laughing, and I don't know if there's another place to continue that, because like the cop, and I'm almost feeling comfortable saying this, but the cop saying something like, "Hey, fat guy."
Okay, that nails something that I was actually thinking of.
It ties it because it got away from you, and then it was that whole big section in the middle, but something that, and maybe there's something, maybe somebody can add a little funny something on the back end of that, but
But Fred's response, he's black, And if he had a joke back to you, just like you had a joke to the kid,
Yeah.
that might be a place for humor.
Okay, Steve?
The cheese sauce joke at the end just didn't work for me. I'm trying to think of something to replace that I can't come up with right now, but that needs to end a little more strongly.
Okay, Denise?
My son's best friend, who's like my other son, is John, who's black, he's African American, and he always uses his hood as a joke when he talks about you don't wear a hood up or on when you see a police officer, you put your hood down. And he makes a joke out of it. I don't know if you can do that without a racist comment. I didn't think so. But he's like my kid. So.
Yeah, I had a feeling I couldn't do that.
You guys could kick
I'm
my
the
ass
resident
out.
black guy.
You can bring it up too, make it obvious, yeah. Michelle?
Yes, so I thought you could have a comic relief right after the police apologize, because that's when we know that you're not in trouble anymore. And I'm as an audience, I'm really serious, really tense, and if you could just break us off with a comic right there, and we go, ha, and then we can just laugh, and then you can go on.
Yes, Chuck?
What I'm picking up is the self-deprecating humor could really work. Not only for you using it for yourself, but having Fred use it for himself.
We have about 90 seconds left. Yes? Ryan?
I think there's a good opportunity for an uncomfortable truth is that when the cop said, "I'm sorry," and he leaves, and if you turn to Fred or whatever and say, "Boy, he seemed uncomfortable saying that, didn't he?" So what you're doing is you're magnifying that cop apologizing for being a jerk. And you can incorporate that within your topic of the uncomfortable. Well, he seemed uncomfortable, didn't he?
Good material. And anything else that anyone like to add on? Just put it up.
Just a quick little note for me, when your hoodie was dropping over your face, I thought that was a little distracting. So if you're gonna do it, I would just work with the hoodie or something like that to make sure it didn't drop over your eyes.
As a facilitator, I'm going to add one to it.
Break the rules, but go right ahead.
Yeah, you step down. I was waiting for you to, at the very end closing, you stand up. It's like, so we just sit back and watch all these things happen, or are you going to stand up and take a stand or something?
Oh.
Closing line.
No.
Sheets into the middle of the room. Boy, evaluators get better when they get a second chance at it. Very good.
On that one,
And now I have a great line when somebody says,
If you have one.
"Wait,